Hello, and welcome to Pressure Point. My name is Carla Robinson, and I'll be your host for this show. And today, my guests are Joy Kogawa and Sadie Kuehn. And they are both social activists and work with women and multicultural issues. And they're here to talk with us today about LETS. And LETS is the Local Economic Trading Services, or it goes by several names as well?
Mm-hmm. It does, because you can change the economic to employment. It's employment services as well, or employment societies.
So it seems to be very dynamic, but it's a monetary system, I understand, a supplemental monetary system? Maybe
a local
Joy?
currency, let's say. Yes.
Okay.
It's an idea. It's an idea that works, and that's sprouting out all over the world. I think probably in response to the money that's out there that is leaving people's lives. So this is another form of money that's a healthy form of money that's returning to us. I think it's an idea that's whose time has come, I think.
I guess for people who haven't ever heard of a supplemental or an alternative monetary system, what is it? Like, who does it help? Or I guess I just want to find out where it started from.
Yeah.
Where did it start? Where did it start?
Yeah.
Well, people say that Michael Linton started it. He's a man who lives in Courtenay, BC, who in 1983 started the first LET system. And since then it's spread all over the world. And I'm from Toronto as well as Vancouver, and there's a system there. But there are many systems in Australia, in the United Kingdom, and France, Germany, the Netherlands, all over. I even saw in the email yesterday somebody from Brazil inquiring and so on. So it's an idea that's everywhere.
So when he started this idea in Courtenay, what exactly did he have in mind? What did he want to do?
Well, I think it was a response to the fact that the community was suffering for lack of funds, lack of money, cash, poor people. And it's such a simple thing, a simple idea. Here in Vancouver, where we're just starting it up and having it developing at this point, we have started to the point where we have a registry, and people join the registry. They get IDs. They state what they would like to have, either in goods or services, what they would like to offer, and then people start to trade. And it's as simple as that.
How did you both, I guess, get involved in starting this project in Vancouver? Sadie, how did you become involved?
Actually, in fact, I got involved through Joy. Joy did a presentation or came to speak to a group that I'm involved in and to do a reading, and wound up also talking about LETS. And myself and a couple of other people that were part of that group, Immigrant Women's Group, decided to get more information, because it certainly, in the overview that she gave of LETS, was certainly mobilized us to think that it was something that really valued the individual and connected the individual with other people, and helped people know that they are valued as human beings. And I think that particularly right now, when we're in a time of social upheaval and a lot of people are out of work and are looking for other things in their lives, right, and wanting to get out of the rat race, that LETS is a way of valuing and recognizing the value of all people, using their skills and abilities in meaningful ways, supporting them to use those services for their personal benefit, but also for the benefit of the community, and supporting more connections within community. And those are some of the positive things I think that we see with Let's.
How would I find value in myself? You said people would find value in themselves through Let's. How would I find value?
Well, I think that we can take the example of you as a media person, and having particular kinds of skills in terms of writing and communications, being able to, if you were to join Let's, to provide some services in terms of writing and or other communication skills to someone else who's a member of the Let's system. You then getting some green dollars back for the services that you provide in credit, and someone else then maybe providing another kind of service for someone else, and you later on choosing to maybe at some point you might need someone who can do some plumbing or help you to repair your house or whatever. You can then use some of your green dollars to get someone with those skills to help you out as well. And again, I think one of the key things is that with that, there are, in this province, there are a number of people who are trained tradespeople, carpenters and plumbers who are out of work at present, who then can use those skills then to, in positive ways, to support themselves and to support the community. And, it's no doubt in my mind that being able to do that has a positive spin-off for that person personally, as well as a positive spin-off for the community generally.
Well, say, for example, as a media person, somebody wanted to learn about media things, and you could offer to teach. I see, all kinds of apprenticeship programs possible. People who can do things, I mean, even grandmothers who know how to do canning, for example, could offer to teach that to some people who would want to learn that and earn their green dollars that way. And then they could spend their green dollars on having somebody drive them somewhere. Or, I mean, anything that you want to do that you couldn't do because you don't have the cash for. With this system, you can create money out of your labor instead of the way money is created now, which is that you go into debt and the bank, makes you pay interest, and then money is created that way. But with this, money is created by labor, by the work that you do.
And it's called green money?
Well, we can call it whatever we want to call it.
We call it green dollars. But
green dollars.
Well, some people call it, we could call it Vancouver dollars if you want.
Oh, and so I would give my media skills, and what if somebody doesn't know what skills they have? How would you decide, like, say, you're a teacher, a sociology teacher, and you can't, I guess it's kind of hard to go out and teach sociology, or maybe it is, but what would they do?
When you think about life, and you think about the way we have compartmentalized it into saying this is worth money and this is not, it seems ridiculous to me that we have got this mindset that certain things are to be valued and certain things aren't. It seems to me that if you live and breathe and love the earth, there are 1,000 billion things that you would normally love to do or to share or to give. And this system, for me, is a way to help your mind to shift away from the other constricting way of thinking about life and sort of open it up. I mean, the imagination is limitless as to what you could possibly do. I mean, think about when you were a child and all the things that you wanted to do as a child. I mean, when I was a child, I wanted to have an orphanage. Because not that I'm going to go out and have one now, but it's because I love children. One of the things I'd love to see, because I see that the old and the young in our society are suffering from lack of contact. I'd like to see somebody come in, for example, and organize for green dollars a system where the old people could be with the young people, could take care of each other, the grannies could be there and take care of babies, and it would have to be somebody who can make sure that the people are safe. But this could be organized on this system. Or say some of the university students who are desperate because they can't think of what jobs they would get. On this system, for example, I was in Kingston talking to some drama students. They could come out and create their own drama performances, give concerts in the community, get green dollars for it, use those green dollars for all kinds of other things. In Toronto, they have a dentist, and accountants, lawyers, all kinds of people on the system. And one can use your green dollars for that. You can save your hard-earned cash for the other things that you absolutely cannot get. And there are plenty of things you can't get with green dollars, but there are plenty of things you can. And so I mean, it's a way of abundance. It can keep going, and the more people there are, the more value there would be.
Yeah. And one of the ways is the registry, when you were asking the question about how does one find out the kinds of skills and abilities that they might be able to share. And as Joyce said, yes, we have to kind of get out of this departmentalizing of things and our lives. But one also writes up a little blurb about the kinds of services you think you might have. And obviously there are members of the system, the LUT system itself, that can help people do that and or take the time for green dollars to go over what kind of experiences and skills individuals might have and what they might share with other members of LUTs. And I think, as Joyce said, that it's really unlimited in terms of the kinds of skills that people have that can be shared and the kinds of things that we can capitalize on. And to me, it's a way of valuing a lot of skills and ability that traditionally haven't been recognized. I mean, the classic example is for people who work in the home. Obviously, those individuals aren't paid out of the purse of the general public or paid anything generally. And certainly in terms of this kind of structure, one can recognize those particular skills and ability. There are a lot of people who have a lot of skills in being able to socialize and interact with either younger people or older people. And this is a way then for them to gain some resources from doing that kind of work.
So if I was a university student, say, and I wanted to, I needed my car fixed, and I didn't have, say, very many green dollars, I could, while my car was running, I could offer to go pick people up and drive them somewhere?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely. You could even, if you wanted to learn how to fix your car, you could probably apprentice and learn from somebody who can teach you that as well. Yeah.
Or you could teach someone English as a second language, or, I mean, there's a variety of things that you might do in order to earn the green dollars that you might need for something else. Or just, you might want to just do that and collect green dollars.
So you can use a mix of green dollars and
other cash.
Yeah, Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars.
Yes.
Yeah. For example, if somebody's coming to cater food, we'll probably pay them cash for what it costs them to buy the food and green for their labor, say, for example. I did that when I was in Toronto.
Oh. So in other cities, so it's in Toronto. How many other cities is it in the
Canada?
world?
In the world? Well, I don't know how many cities there are, but the latest thing that I read on the email from somebody who was trying to add this up came to about 1,000 systems that they had counted.
Around the world.
Around the world. And in Toronto as well, you're saying? How is it working in Toronto?
Well, there are about 700 people there who are registered on the system. And it's been going for a few years, about 6 years, I guess. And yeah, it's very exciting, actually. But here in Vancouver, we're starting a multi-let system, a multiple system, so that people in their own local communities can have their own subsystem as well as belonging to the general overall system. Because people in their own localities are much more likely to trade with people that they know, or in their own interest group, or in their own ethnic group, or whatever.
Is that a way to deal with Vancouver's geographical type of area, I guess, because you know it is difficult to get from, say, Surrey to North Vancouver. Is that how you're dealing with it?
Well, I would. The idea is to have many small groups within a big urban center. I think it's because there's probably an optimal size for people to form community. I mean, you can't have community with all of Canada, and you can't have community with all of Vancouver either. You just can't know that many people. Yeah. So you might want to trade with just, you know, the people in your neighborhood, for example. And then you might find that there's something that you really want that's in somebody else's neighborhood. So then you could trade with that person as well. And it can just...
So you just check the Let's classifieds then?
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the other key reasons for focusing on areas is that it helps to build community. So if you have, say, 20 people in one area of the city, say in Mount Pleasant, that are part of Let's or members of Let's, and you're trading within that area, it helps build a stronger sense of community within that sector of the city. And that doesn't limit one from trading across the city either for other kinds of services.
Yeah, it seems a lot different from businesses say, you know, let's get the cheapest business no matter where it is, and you know, let's, you know, I'm going to go, you know, it does seem to be an inexpensive way of, I guess, getting services. But does it differ in terms of the profit motive?
Well, I guess some people would want to make a profit. You know, people.
Yeah.
I mean, individuals are individuals.
Yeah.
And some people would like to accumulate a lot of green dollars. You know, but this would be kind of silly in a way. And well, for one thing, there's no interest in the system, so that having a lot of money just sitting there, you might as well spend it. You might as well use it. The idea is to use it. And you don't have to be afraid either that the debt that you've got, this huge amount that you have spent, is going to get bigger and bigger because of interest payments, because there is no interest payments. So you don't have to be worried about money, about this kind of money. It's just there to use to facilitate your life, the things that you would like to do. So
if you have a big debt, say, wouldn't that hurt other members of Let's, or does it? How does that affect if, say, there's a deficit? If somebody has a big deficit?
Yeah, well, the stewards are there to sort of jostle you along and say, okay, maybe you'd like to earn something. Here's how you might want to do something. So, yeah.
There is the stewards are a safety mechanism for the system overall.
Okay, so there's going to be somebody helping things along and helping the system along.
Yeah,
and there's a core group of people that are interested enough to see the thing grow. And it'd be great if organizations joined, you know, because if organizations joined, then currently they're having a lot of volunteers who are putting in a lot of time. They could start paying those volunteers in green dollars and valuing them that way. And then, of course, that expands the lives of those people because they have some green dollars to spend. And those organizations can earn green dollars, too. I mean, they can rent out space for green dollars or whatever.
So it's open to, like, nonprofit societies or any group that wants to join?
Or businesses.
Or businesses.
In Toronto, there's a food store and so on.
Businesses, well, lawyers and dentists. Which are basically business, they're private business people.
Yeah. So is this a way to keep money in the community?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly it. Because I think that the problem with the money that we have right now is that it's leaving real people and real lives and going out there and becoming a plaything. Money has transmogrified and become this funny thing. You know, you don't know what it's doing. But this kind of money is a healthy form, and it'll stay in the community. So it's like health foods as opposed to junk food. And there was a time when health food was suspect, you know?
Yeah.
Just like acupuncture was suspect at one point. Now it's quite common.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way this money will be seen at some point. I think it's bound to happen because the other kind of money is so strange.
Almost like a healthy alternative, I guess?
Yes, indeed. Well, it's getting back Joy and I were talking about this. It's getting back to really how most cultures operated many years ago, centuries ago. Basically providing services and support for each other, and for small communities, one person being identified to keep track of the kinds of trading that went on and the kinds of services that were provided. And at some point, the community paid those individuals for the services and or goods that they provided to other members of the community. And all we're suggesting is that maybe this is the time to look at that as a reasonable model to use, not to eliminate other kinds of monies or currency, but to say that we're at the point that we need a combination or a blend, because there are people who wind up being left out or missing out and certainly aren't being valued, and I think we have to have a commitment to making sure that a cross-section and more people are valued for their expertise and their knowledge and their skills.
Yeah. Who are those people that are being left out?
I think that is quite a large cross-section. Earlier this year, I think the media talked about the number of young people coming out of university who had no possibility of getting employment, or very, very limited possibilities of getting employment. I think that's one group of people. Young people is one group of people. I think that a large proportion of women and older women are finding it much harder to get back into the so-called the official labor market and be paid for their work.
People who are being downsized.
I think that a lot of people who are being pushed out of their jobs, be they government jobs or big corporation jobs, right? And again, are losing a sense of self and a sense of their self-worth and their abilities. Those are the people that I think that would see something like this as a reasonable way of valuing their skills and abilities and actually giving something back to the society. Because I think in talking to people about this, that's what we're hearing. We're hearing people who want to make a change in their life or have been forced to make a change in their lives, saying that within that change, they want to do something not only for themselves but for the community and the society as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a hopeful thing that it can enliven people, I think. It's a structure that is there, that can be used, and that can grow. And once it grows, it becomes much more useful to more people. And the more people that are on it, the better it is. So it's one of the signs of hope that's out there in the world, I think. And it's worth a try, you know? What have we got to lose? I mean, in the world that we've got. It's worth trying.
How difficult is it to, I guess, become a part of the Let's system, like the Let's system? That sounds as though it's a group or something. How is it hard?
It's as easy as picking up the phone and phoning for information, and getting a form sent to you that you can fill out and send in your $25 registration fee. If you can't afford the $25 registration fee, you ask for help, and presumably you will get that, and join and start using it.
Yeah. So it's as simple as calling one of the numbers that we have, which is 451-5463, and talking to someone will get back in touch with you and sign you up.
What I also wondered too was when I mentioned earlier, I guess, trying to keep the money in the community in terms of recirculating it. In other cities, has it proven to stay within the city? Have there been any studies at all on the LET systems that exist?
Oh yes, there have. But I think, it's impossible for the money to leave the system. It's just there. It's there in the register amongst the people. And, well, there is a big study that's been going on in Toronto that Health Canada has funded. to see whether it makes a difference in the quality of lives of people, and I believe that they're finding that it does that. But we're waiting for the study to come out and tell us.
How did you yourself, Joy, get involved?
Get involved with this?
Yeah, get involved with this.
It was after I finished my last novel that I knew that the next thing that I would be looking into was the abundant way, a way of life that was going to be really critiquing and looking at mammon, the scarcity model, that which clutches our hearts and kills us all. And so I stumbled into this through a friend of mine who's a teacher, a sociology professor. And she was the one, in fact, who was doing the study. And as she told me about the system, a little bit about it, and I got intrigued and tentatively, started to make inquiries and got more and more intrigued. I'm still intrigued. And I see that it is still a very marginal activity for most people. What surprises me when I talk to people, really, is that we believe so firmly and so strongly in the overwhelming reality of money. And it's the thing in the world. It's the bottom line, or whatever it is, this money thing. And it seems to me that this demystifies a lot of that. Makes you think again about what that money thing is. Yeah. And a lot of the clutches in my heart about that money thing have been loosened. Yeah. And I think that this can shift the mind away.
Well, thank you. It's been very much a pleasure to hear about the LETS system, the one just starting here in Vancouver. And I'd like to thank you, Joy Kogawa and Sadie Kuehn, for joining me here today on Pressure Point.